In this video, we're going to be finishing our brass prep by making our brass the appropriate length as stated in our reloading manuals. The tool we are going to be using is a Frankford Arsenal case trimmer in order to get the results we need the easiest way possible. So step 1, we cleaned our brass. Step 2, we sized our brass by stretching out the casing. And now we're on to step 3, where we are currently trimming that casing to the appropriate size. Here's the Frankford Arsenal case trimmer. We have it taken apart as shown. Let's put it together. There are 2 tools on the Frankford Arsenal machine here, which clean within the primer pocket. So first you have to know what casing are you using. Are you using a small rifle casing or using a large rifle casing? In this example here, I'm using a large rifle primer, and the small doesn't clean the full hole. Whereas you can see the bigger one cleans the whole primer pocket. So now we figured out which one we're using. So we screw that into the top of the machine there. You make sure it's really finger tight. We're going to assemble the rest of our Frankford Arsenal assembly here. So we're going to grab our big die and we're going to screw this in. Okay, you'll notice the loosen arrows in the opposite direction. So yes, it is a reverse thread. So you're going to turn it left to screw it into the machine. So counterclockwise. Now we have to find the appropriate plastic piece for the case we are using. So you do not want your plastic piece too tight, as the case has to be able to move freely in the plastic piece. Now we have to find the appropriate washer, which exposes the whole neck portion of our case without exposing too much or too little of the neck. This combination, when put into the machine, is going to be nice and tight and create a wall where the brass can only go so far. This is important so we don't trim off more than we want to. Putting it in, put it on a piece of brass, put it in there, make sure it's properly secured. We put our rubber inside our cap, which is then going to be threaded on, and it's going to leave the plastic piece exposed. So turning this in clockwise, tightens that plastic around your brass. All your extra components you're going to put inside of your Frankford Arsenal up top, close it up. Now we have to set how much of the brass are we trimming. So we do this by inserting the brass into the hole and looking through the ports, seeing how close our brass is to the carbide cutters. So you're going to adjust this till your brass is just touching the carbide cutters, and then you're going to go just a little bit more. Next, you're going to tighten your nut to fasten that and make sure it's secure. So that's secure. You want to make sure you can move your brass left and right, spinning it inside that plastic piece. Now we're going to look at our reloading book or multiple reloading books and get our official measurement for how long our brass has to be. We then use our caliper to measure our brass. You can see here it's a little long. So my original measurement was 1.912, and I want to be around just under what the book says, because when I shoot again, the brass is going to stretch and expand. As you are going through and sizing your casings, some casings are going to be too long and some casings are going to be too short. So we want to be within 0.005 on your caliper to be good and safe to fire. If your casing is above the maximum measurement as stated in your reloading book or manual, it is unsafe to shoot. Do not exceed the maximum measurement as stated in your reloading book. In this example here, we're doing 22-250, and the case is 1.912, so we do not exceed that length. If it's too long, we are going to trim it down at or below that length. If it is shorter than 0.005, it is unsafe to load, and you can be super picky for the best results. If you're following along step by step, please wear gloves and goggles before continuing past this point of the video. First, we're going to turn the machine on. As you can see, there's 2 bits on each side. Those thread in, and they can be placed on either side you like, and take it off. We're going to press hard in while we turn to make sure the brass is trimmed and it's trimmed evenly all the way around. This is going to leave lips on the inside of the casing and on the outside of the casing. So now we're going to get rid of those. The tool on the right is a deburring tool for the inside. Light pressure, not very hard, fairly quick. It'll take care of this. If you were to drag your fingers carefully along the outside of the case, you'll feel the outer lip of what we have to get rid of. Lightly touch the casing on the deburring tool. Now to clean within the primer pocket, press firmly, not too hard, give it a couple of turns, and you're good to go. You can see the difference there. After you've done this, you are looking on the casings all the time for stress fractures, as well as peeling or any defects. Now we have to measure the overall length of our casing. So is it what the book says? Now you can watch as I do the full process and about how long it takes. Measured and 0.001 under, and I'm happy with that. That's what I like to reload at. So push hard in, spin the casing left and right, make sure it's even all the way around. Then you're going to pull the casing out, deburr the inside really quick, really light, deburr the outside really quick, really light, and push firmly and rotate to clean the inside of the primer pocket. Measure again, inspect. Next casing, push in, turn left and right, make sure it's even all the way around, touch very lightly, get the inside burrs, touch lightly, get the outside burrs, and clean the primer pocket. One more time. Your hands do get very sore, so make sure you wear gloves. This machine is a little bit rough on your fingers if you're doing 100 rounds, 1,000 rounds. Your hands do get sore after a while. You can be as picky as you want to be with these measurements. For example, that reading there is 0.002 underneath what I'm looking for. If you're not getting the results or measurement you want, adjust your machine accordingly. The plastic that holds the casing and the washer, they do move slightly when you first set up the machine. Once it's set, you're good for a few 100 rounds. Once finished, put your casings in a container, mark them good to go. They're cleaned, sized, and trimmed. And now we're ready to set up our presses in the next video and reload some ammunition. See you next time.